All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. I want to give double honor to my elder apostles, my elder bishop, a great millstone, who rule well and teaching us the truth 100% securely. And I'd like to give a salutation to the men out there on the highways and byways pushing the truth throughout the four corners of the earth. And also, I'd like to give a salutation to the Akim and Akrock who are listening and studying to start our separate pool. This is Brother Bayan from the Tulsa, Oklahoma, Hebrew Delight Camp, coming back to you with another quick lesson. And this is a quick lesson to continue to warn Yashar, the so-called Negroes, Latino, and Native American, of the upcoming prophecy that are being fulfilled. All right, and Yahweh Shai said these things are going to happen. Okay, so with all of this information that's coming out with the sleeper cells, and they said in the most recent attack in Austin, Texas, and so on and so forth, you know, this is what is expected in the coming days. Okay, so real quick, let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. Which is basically a precept is measuring the time, you know, paying attention to prophecy. All right. 2nd Ezra 9:1, it says, "He answered me, then said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." All right, verse 3. And it said, "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquake and upwards of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the day that were before thee, even from the beginning All right, and so that is precept is letting you know what time we're living in, what time, what part of prophecy that is being fulfilled. Okay, we already, so you go and you read Matthew the 24th chapter, and starting about the 6th verse. We can start at verse 3, okay? Because this is when Yahweh Shai gave the breakdown of the signs that's gonna be shown, the time that's gonna be shown when the end of the world is getting ready to come. All right, so Matthew 24:3, and it said, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciple came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the signs of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yahweh shall answer and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. Okay, and that is starting with the false prophet. Okay, you have a lot of individuals out here that's not warning you of the impending danger that's coming down the pipeline. Okay, and so this is Yahweh Shai gave up the same Yahweh Shai, who in the world isn't called Jesus Christ. He gave that warning. So he said, take heed that no man deceive you. Okay, so how do you do that? Is you always have to lean on scriptures. Okay, get the proper context of the scriptures and basically seeing what it's saying. So when you got people that's telling you otherwise, those are the people you want to get away from. All right, the Holy Scriptures is your guide throughout these times as well too. That's why it's beautiful just to get through wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You know, as it says in Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. Okay, you become very stable because you know what's getting ready to come next. Okay, so continue, and it says, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. All right, and you got a lot of people who claim to, who have claimed that how the Messiah is getting ready to come and save, you know, the nation of Israel. All right, but the scriptures tells you how he's going to come back when you read Acts, the 1st chapter, and about the 10th verse, when he was lifted up into the sky and the angel, you know, went beside the disciples and said, Ye men of Galilee, why are you standing gazing up, loosely paraphrasing? He said the same way that he comes back, the same way he left is going to be the same way he comes back. Okay, so you always keep that in mind, especially when you have people that tell you that the Messiah is coming back. Matter of fact, before the year was up, sometime in October, we had this false pastor that was getting ready to say, that was basically saying that the rapture was going to take place in November, or was it September the 30th? I can't remember exactly well. We did a lesson on that, but that's just a, you know, a small thing basically that lines up with prophecy as we're reading on. So we already passed those moments, and they still out here, but that's just to tell you the signs of the time, you know, paying attention to the prophecy. So the first thing was Yahweh Shai warned us of false prophets. Okay, and verse 6 is where we're at. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of war. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So why we have all of these reports coming out with sleeper cells and so on and so forth, there's still other prophecies that must be fulfilled before the end, you know, actually come. All right, so yeah, they got sleeper cells, and me personally, I believe that these sleeper cells are controlled opposition, okay, and they are the government, which we can't forget that the government, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, so we have crooked, corrupted government official who probably paid these individuals to do what they do. So, all right, but they just use their media to blame it on Iran just to further their agenda. All right, just to take over Iran and get that oil. Okay, because these people that's in control of America, aka Babylon the Great, They want to control the whole world, including you. Okay? And in order for them to do that, they have to create this chaos. Which is why we bring up 2 Corinthians. Pull this up in the blue letter real quick. Chapter 2 and verse 11, which is obvious, was the most obvious, right? And it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Right? When you go into the word devices, it's always their diabolical plans. Okay? These devils have plans on top of plans. Okay? So that's why it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And here's a Hebrew word for devices.
Strong's G 3540. Naima.
All right, the Greek word naima, and it says a mental perception, thought, and evil purpose that would stink the mind, thoughts, or purpose. Okay, and in the Strong definition, and it says naima, a perception, i.e. purpose, or by implication, the intellect, disposition itself, device, mind, thoughts. Okay, so when you go even deeper into this, it goes into schemes, okay? Yeah, I think they changed the definition up since the last time I looked at it. But anyway, yeah, these devices goes into controlling the minds of the people and making them, controlling them and treating them like cattle, okay? And so, matter of fact, when you look at the comic of this very same video, you have people that some will believe, and you have people that was on the fence about it. But you had one particular guy, I was looking at this comic and a very clip, like this individual right here, it's not going to happen. Trump is going to be ended before any major nuclear could happen. So you still got people that believing in America, and they still think that America is going to be on top. They're going to come out on top. And he's sadly mistaken. Okay, but there's a particular comment that I wanted to show. Right, see right here, this guy right here said, I seen A-Rap at Planet Fitness today, very out of place. Okay, so that lets you know what's that precept, the simple believeth every word, and the prudent man look well to his going. Just because they're A-Rap don't mean they're a sleeper cell. All right, but nevertheless, it's still, high time to wake up out of sleep. You got to be right out of circumspect. When you see large crowd of people, you might want to try to avoid that. Okay, this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 15. Just like to bear with me for a minute, trying to pull it up. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15, and that reads, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So yeah, we are definitely in some evil times, some evil days, and you'll be a very wise individual if you take heed to the scriptures, Ephesians 5 and 15, okay? Because it says, see then that you walk circumspectly, okay? The word circum means around, spect means to look. Not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Verse 17, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is, okay? Which goes back to the very scripture. What is the will of the Heavenly Father? What is he getting ready to establish? These devils who are the wicked, the Lord is getting ready to come back and take them out of power. So in the process of people being taken out of power, there's a time of judgment. There's a time of bloodshedding, okay? And this is what we get ready to witness. And these are the beginning of sorrows, as we read in the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter and the 6th verse, okay? Yahweh Shai warned the disciple, you will hear wars and rumors of wars, see that you be not troubled. So right now, we're not in a troubled space, because this is going to calm down eventually. We still have to focus on that prophecy, that major prophecy, which is the MOTB, which is the RFID-CHIP. Okay, they have to implement that. All right, so we're looking at scenarios where they are going to use these sleeper cells, because you can't forget one of their devices, especially the Rockefeller, who been known to say, don't let a good crisis go to waste, okay? And so they're going to take advantage of this, and they're going to continue to escalate, and they really, deep down with all of this chaos, all of this distraction, the Island Man files, okay, this most recent event with America going to war with Iran, their ultimate goal is to take total control of the American people, as the world would say. All right, but through the spirit, they want to get the elect. Okay, so one major thing to think about is that guy in Texas was a so-called black man. Okay, and so that gives Esau an excuse, Esau, even the so-called white man, an excuse to come down having great wrath. Okay, they're creating a scenario right now. They made him look just like us. The guy that wanted the sleeper cells, who did shot unalived 3 people, injured 14 people, I believe that the report said, and he made him look just like a so-called black man. All right, so whenever they're using ICE agents or so on and so forth, they're going to be justified into throwing some people into prison, especially Yasser Ali, especially those who are out on the highways and byways, just like me and my Akim, who are out on the highways and byways, and we're preaching the downfall of this place, because we know we're getting ready to go down. Okay, so that's something to look out for. Okay, so get to Revelation 12 and 12. In Revelation 12 and 12, and it said, therefore rejoice ye heaven, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Okay, so these events can very well be used to attack the Yasser Ali, the children of Israel, right? And they're going to attack the people, regular citizens. This is what they're doing. So you shouldn't be surprised that your own government is actually paying some of these people, and then they're using Iran as the main culprit, okay? And all along, it was your government that was creating these chaos. All right, hence 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. Okay, devices goes into schemes, plots. All right, that's exactly what that is. So definitely be circumspect out here, okay, because it's about to get worse, and they're going to force people to get their RFID-CHIP. That's what we're looking forward to, okay. So yeah, man, that's pretty much the point, man. I just wanted to bring out this extra report, and we're gonna continue monitoring and watching most of these events that get ready to take place, okay. And Lord willing, you be staying circumspect out here. All right, so we ended off with 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1. It says, but of the time and the season, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Okay, and this is how he come as a thief in the night. And why everybody distracted, he gonna come. And matter of fact, it's been the prophecy. That's another prophecy we're looking forward to, is World War III to really ramp up, because our Messiah, who the world even calls Jesus Christ, is going to come during World War III. Okay, and so why it said, for yourself know perfectly, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and 2, yourself know perfectly that day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Okay, so a thief in the night come unexpectedly. A lot of people in the world is not going to expect it. But as for the elect, in verse 3, And this is another prophecy we're looking at, right? In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and 3, it said, for when they shall say peace and safety. So all of this chaos that we're seeing right now, there's going to come a time of peace, okay? And that's when all hell going to break loose again, all right? For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape, okay? These current chaos right now is only just the beginning, okay? So eventually it's going to come a time where they're going to calm everybody down, or they're going to come with a scenario, since we have the sleeper cells, because this is a perfect scenario for them to usher in their mark of the beast, okay? Because how they making it sound like we got sleeper cells, and matter of fact, if you don't know what sleeper cells is, which is basically, I'll get a quick definition of it, for edification purposes. You should know what sleeper cells are, because a lot of people talk about it all throughout social media. But for edification purposes, I get it. Quick definition, real quick. All right, and it says, sleeper cells are individual or small groups secretly placed inside a country, organization, or society who live normal lives while waiting, sometimes for years, to be activated for a specific mission, okay? And so this is what this report is talking about, and what these sleeper cells are meant to do. So they are regular human beings who are living in a country, but their alliance or their loyalty is with another country, right? So in this case, we have people that living in America, live a normal life. They got maybe got a working career, and they pretty much, their loyalty is with Iran, okay? And that's what the reports are as of now, right? But don't be surprised with these same people, even though these are sleeper cells and they're saying they are sleeper cells that are loyal to Iran, America, aka Babylon the Great, could also hire the same individual to do the dirt, kill their own people, and then still blame it on Iran. And that's why the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Any type of information that's going to get this chaos going, there's a bigger agenda behind this, okay? So get a little bit more information on the sleeper cells. Sleeper cells is a covert agent or group living quietly under a normal identity with no obvious suspicion activity, waiting for instruction or a trigger event before taking action. And this is what that triggered event was, where America attacked Iran, and now they're being activated. And you're seeing a lot of those reports. And there's actually another video saying that there's a list of cities that have confirmed sleeper cells in each city. Okay, so if you're in the Oklahoma area and you listen to the video, the Oklahoma City was definitely on that list. Okay. Yeah, you pretty much get the point. We ain't got to read too much into it, but yeah, that's what sleeper cells are. There's individuals who living in one country, but their loyalty is to another country. To give it in short. Okay, and again, you don't be surprised if there are other, if the American government pays some of these people. Okay, because the earth is giving it to the hands of the wicked. All right, so there's that. So these are the things to look out for. So going back to my original point, this is a very perfect scenario for them to push that RFID-CHIP. Okay, they can very well bring out that, pretty much coerce people due to this event, and they could easily say, in order, persuade the government, kind of like they did the C-19 situation, and they persuade people to go ahead and get that tag, that digital all, okay, and put it up under your skin just so you can be identified. All right, this is a perfect scenario for them to snuff out the sleeper cell, so to speak. Okay, so that's the next prophecy that get ready to take place. All right, so going back and reading 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. And verse 3 again from the top, and it said, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. All right, and it said, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Right, because the reason why we're not in darkness is because we understand prophecy. We understand what's getting ready to come next by these, basically these recent events. These prophecies is getting ready to take place. So what this going on right now, this is just the beginning of sorrow. We know it's going to come in stages. The major prophecy we're looking forward to is the RFID-CHIP, okay? And this is a perfect example for them to coerce people into getting that mark of the beast, all right? So verse 4 again from the top, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. You see, in verse 7, for they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. And he said, but let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet and the hope of salvation. You see, and that's what the mindset you want to be in. There's another scripture to think about in Ecclesiastes 7:2. Better to be in the house of the morning than in the house of feasting. All right. The reason why you want to be in the house of morning is because you're more alert. You're more aware when you're in the house of mourning versus when you're in the house of feasting. And when you're in the house of feasting, you're not paying attention to your surroundings. Hence, what happened to those individuals, where they was at when, the alleged sleeper cell took certain people out. Okay, I believe that was at a mall or something like that, but that's what the gist of it. They are going after people that are in the house of feasting, okay? And there you have it, man. So be circumspect out here, as the scripture said, 1 Peter 5, and 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is walking around as a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. And a lot of those people got devoured because they was in the house of feasting, man. So, that's pretty much the point. Lord willing, is that fine with that. We give all praise and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Mukakadas. I want to give double honor to my elder apostles, my elder bishops with great millstone, who were well and teaching us the truth 100% securely. Shalom, Shalom, Kwam Yashavala, Shalom.